Archery's glaring spotlight was focused on a hotly contested week of competition in Antalya, Turkey. Scores of sharpshooters had traveled from across the globe to toil in the scorching Mediterranean sun, all concentrating on each arrow, trying not to look ahead to the next match, the next opponent. But deep inside, all harbored hopes of making it to a medal match and dreamed of taking their place on the podium here at Stage 2 of the 2017 Hyundai Archery World Cup Tour. It felt like just yesterday the outdoor season had opened amidst the towering skyscrapers of Shanghai. None stood taller than the men from Kazakhstan, a nation that had never won a World Cup medal. But that all changed in China, where David slew Goliath. Kazakhstan sending shockwaves through the Far East and the rest of the planet, upsetting Korea to claim the gold medal. That was no fluke. The men from Kazakhstan would once again reach the finale at Stage 2 in Turkey, this time with Sultan Duzulbayev teaming up with Deniz Genkin and Oybek Saidiyev. And once again, they'd be facing a powerhouse opponent, Italy's David Pasqualucci, Marco Galeazzo, and Mauro Nespoli, all decorated, talented, and highly experienced marksmen with great team chemistry. Could they mix the right elements together for a winning formula? So far, so good. Italy on top by 2 in the fourth set, in even better shape after that 8 by Duzulbayev. Deniz Genkin did his best to right the ship. And so did Oybek Saidiyev. The man who shot clinched the gold medal for Kazakhstan at Stage 1. David Pasqualucci had posted an 8 with his first shot of this fourth set, but made amends getting Italy started on what they hoped would be the final push. Galeazzo, the Olympic gold medalist in London, looking to make it a pair of 10s in this set, just came up short. So instead of a 7, fellow gold medalist Mauro Nespoli needed 8 to close out Kazakhstan. Italy reaching the top of the podium in men's team World Cup competition for the first time in 7 years. One of the top stories during Stage 2, the IOC announcing World Archery's hard work paid off. Mixed teams will compete in 2020 at the Olympic Games in Tokyo.
I think it's absolutely awesome. I mean, the mixed teams is such a fun event. It's, you know, you can take your best man and your best woman, and then you're competing against everyone else. It's probably the most competitive thing that we have in archery now, because you have the best of the best, and then we all get to go. And now that it's, you know, an Olympic medal, getting a chance at 3 medals, I think it's going to add a whole new dynamic to archers at the games. And I think now that it's in, that we're going to be seeing a lot more team camaraderie too with the men and women. We'll have better programs. And, you know, now if you only have a single spot, you still have a team round, and, you know, the mixed teams are going to be probably the tightest competition at the games now. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it has the potential to maybe boost everyone up and push everyone. You'll see people pushing it. You might even see, you know, more tactics being involved. Instead of taking your top 2 ranked people, you might take 2 people that shoot the best together. And look at beach volleyball, for instance. You take the best teams, and the best teams may not have the 2 best individuals. You might have this team and this team where their top guys are good, but they don't play well together. And so, yeah, it could create specialists. That's a whole new dynamic than a men's team and then just a women's team. I mean, it's going to change everything, and we get another opportunity to medal. I mean, it's huge. I'm excited. Like, bring it on. Let's do it.
Okay. In his illustrious career, Brady's mentored many new partners in mixed team competition. That was the case in this bronze medal match. Ellison showing the way for 19-year-old Anna Michoni, who learned a hard lesson about the breeze on Conialty Beach. Spain leading 4-2 in the fourth led off with Pablo Gonzalez, and Pablo found the sweet spot. That took pressure off 20-year-old Alicia Marin, who came through with a solid effort. Rotation change for the USA, allowing Ellison to anchor after a 7 from his protege. But and 8 off the bow of the Olympic bronze medalist just goes to show nobody's perfect. Perfection? Not required from Spain at this point. If they'd hit the target, they'd win. Gonzalez left little doubt about the outcome, setting up his teammate. Alicia slightly off target on her final attempt, but 8 was enough to secure the bronze medal for Spain. Maybe we'll see them in Tokyo come 2020. Same scenario in the mixed team gold medal showdown, each squad pairing a highly respected veteran like Jean-Charles Valadon with an up-and-comer like Audrey Adicium. Over on target 1, Chinese Taipei would substitute 20-year-old Peng Chiamao for Tan Yating, who is Wei Chun-heng's usual partner. That dynamic duo got the best of Korea in a 5-4 shoot-off at stage 1 in Shanghai. Shooting for gold once again in Antalya, Wei Chun-heng would hang a 10 on the board, which meant Jean-Charles needed the same score to split the opening set. The Olympic silver medalist showing the form displayed in Rio, and the two sides did indeed share the points. The match tied at 1 apiece. On to the second set, and Mr. Wei can put the set away. Then 9 was fine because there'd be no way for Valadon to shoot an 11, of course. A 10 was the best he could hope for, and even that wouldn't be enough to salvage the set for France. Chinese Taipei taking a 2-point edge and led 3-1 heading to set 3, where the man who first made a name for himself in field archery fell short of his mark with that attempt, but he scored enough points to put this set out of reach for Taipei. There was no way for Mr. Wei to shoot a 12. So chalk up 2 more points for France. Those 2 points tying the match for a second time. 3-all going to the 4th and deciding set. Peng Chiamao showed how she'd won gold at the World Youth Championships in 2015. In fact, she had reached the podium 3 times in Yankton and had also been on the podium earlier this day, accepting a team gold medal at stage 2. Wei Chun-heng would then make it a pair of 9s for Taipei. So there was a chance for France to take control. The 20-year-old Adicium, in her first World Cup medal match, seemed to have her nerves under control. Now she needed Valadon to do what he'd done in Brazil, come up with a big shot. Instead, Jean-Charles produced a solid shot. The match was still even with 2 to go. Ms. Peng would step up to the line and peg a 9. Again, solid work by the woman trying to fill the shoes of Tan Yating. A 10 from Mr. Wei would make the path to victory that much harder for France, but he left his arrow high to the right. The red carpet rolled out for France. All they needed was a 9 and a 10 to break open a nice bottle of vintage wine. Wishful thinking. After an 8 from Audrey, the best France could hope for was a shoot-off. That would take a 10. Anything less, and Taipei celebrates. The gold going to Wei Chun-heng and Peng Chiamao, who showed the depth of Chinese Taipei. Mixed team in the Olympics in 2020, it makes us dream. So we imagine that maybe that could be us. Oh, it will be us, the French team at least, which is always changing.
This is how to shoot an Olympic recurve bow. Archery is a sport best practiced in controlled conditions. Please see your local archery club for a place to shoot safely. First, our archer will be stepping to the shooting line. She puts 1 foot on either side of the shooting line. She'll also attach her finger sling to her thumb so that she can relax her bow hand. After she has gotten her posture, she'll be drawing her arrow out of her quiver and knocking it to the bowstring. Keeping in mind that 1 fletch faces the archer, creating a nice flat path for the arrow to leave the bow. Olympic-style archers use 3 fingers on the bowstring, 1 finger above the arrow and 2 fingers below. You can also see that she's using a finger tab to protect her fingers from the bowstring. Next, she's going to slide her hand into the grip into a repeatable position and raise her arms so that the arrow is pointed straight at the target. From here, she's going to draw the string back to her face. And Olympic-style archers anchor with their finger touching their jaw and the string running up the chin, the lips, and the tip of the nose. She's now aiming with the front sight pin. When she's ready, she'll shoot. After the shot, her bow arm stays up and her fingers end up behind her neck, creating the follow-through. And that is how you shoot an Olympic recurve bow.
By the way, condolences to our instructor, Canada's Crispin Duenas, on the loss of his beloved mother. Back to action, the women's team gold medal battle between Japan and Chinese Taipei, a lopsided affair. Nakamura Miki, Sugimoto Tomami, and Hayakawa Ren put up 2 8s and a 7 in the first set, still only losing by 2. 3 more 8s cost them the second set by a single point. And then in this third set, a 7, an 8, and no 10s basically sealed Japan's fate. Taipei had this match at the tipping point. Tan Yating did her thing with a salvo of shots that included a 10 and a 9. Then it was time for Lei Xianying to do her thing. Another 10-9 combination that set the table for Peng Xiamao, who ended the suffering for Japan. With Korea staying home, Chinese Taipei even more of a force to be reckoned with.
Japan is a good team, a strong team.
We are sure Japan will work very hard to aim for the Olympics because, after all, they are the host country. But we will try to do our best, working harder and harder to prepare for 2020. Lei Xianying, one of the hardest working women in recurve. She was back for more in the bronze medal match against Colombia's Ana Maria Rendon and leading by 4 after the opening sets. That 8 by Rendon opened a door for Ms. Lei, and she gladly accepted the invitation. Advantage Taipei. Rendon could not get out of the rut she was in, stuck in the red zone, falling further behind Ms. Lei, who was once again pulling away. Ana Maria finally found her way out of the woods, but by then, it was just simply too late. Consistency was the key for Lei Xianying, who collected her second medal of the day, sweeping her way to bronze on Konyaaltı Beach. Ksenia Perova came away from Shanghai empty-handed. So after losing the bronze medal match at stage 1, she was much more determined here in Antalya. Guaranteed a medal from stage 2, Perova's preference, gold. Of course, Lin Xiqia had her sights set on the same prize. After qualifying 16th, she would be the archer from Chinese Taipei, who'd work her way through the field and make it to the match that got top billing. Let's fast forward, 4th set, the score tied after splits in the first 3 sets. A sign of things to come? Perova came out and made a big statement with a direct hit right down the middle. A perfect shot that applied pressure on her opponent. Lin Xiqia faltering just a bit, drifting left of center. The wind must have picked up, because the same thing happened to Perova's next arrow. Now, a 10 would tie the score again. 10 was what this woman needed. And 10 is what she got. Lin Xiqia, cool, calm, and clutch. Ksenia accepts the challenge. Perova making her point with pinpoint precision, shifting the pressure right back on the shoulders of Ms. Lin. Only this time, she didn't have the answer, at least not the right one. Her final arrow of the 4th set would stray into the danger zone, providing a breakthrough moment for Perova. After sharing the first 3 sets, Ksenia had now put some daylight between herself and the tenacious woman from Chinese Taipei, who was not on her nation's gold medal team. She'd have to get her own, and could only hope that 9 was a step in the right direction. Turns out it was. Parova lost her bearings, dropping down into the red zone to drop behind by 1 in this 5th set. Ms. Lin almost caught the line with her second shot, but close doesn't count. A 10 from Parova would tie the set. But suddenly, the magic was missing for the Russian archer. A pair of 8s had backed her into a corner. And Lin Xiaxia was not about to let her escape. That shot was her statement. She wasn't backing down. She wasn't going away. She was as mentally tough as anyone on the team from Taipei. Still, Parova wanted to make a point of her own. Her third shot might not have made a difference on the scoreboard, but it was not meaningless. She wanted to regain momentum, heading for the shoot-off. On paper, it appeared Ms. Lin might be favored. She survived 3 shoot-offs during qualifying, including a victory over Deepika Kumari. But historically, Parova had proven to be just as resilient in these situations, winning 5 tiebreakers during her career. Ksenia, going first, put herself at the mercy of the 25-year-old from Taipei. She just needed to be a millimeter closer to ground zero, and she almost was. After holding her shot for what seemed like an eternity, that final arrow would land just a bit further from the X than Ksenia's. In the end, Parova prevailed by a few millimeters. This time, she would not go home empty-handed, but with a gold medallion draped around her neck. With all the confidence that comes from winning a team gold medal in the morning, Italy's David Pasqualucci was mentally prepared to battle on his own for the bronze, and he was on the brink of a breakthrough, leading by 2 in a quest for his first individual World Cup medal. The 20-year-old Roman up against 19-year-old Thomas Giraud of France. Giraud had gone toe-to-toe with Pasqualucci and was only trailing because of a 9 in the previous set. But an 8 could prove fatal, especially after Pasqualucci pounced and took full advantage. The young Frenchman found the will to fight back. This match, far from over. Pasqualucci knew that. With a wealth of World Cup experience, he knew he'd have to earn this victory, which was now in his grasp. All he needed was a split, and the bronze would be his. A 10 would have made the outcome more dramatic, but Giraud could only muster a 9.
An 8 to win.
Pasqualucci was not complaining. Needing 8 to win, the young man from Rome went 1 better just to be sure. From the look on his face, it seems to be a sure bet that this special moment will not be the last time that we see David Pasqualucci of Italy flash V for victory.
As an official world archery judge, let's give a big round of applause for Tommy.
The final match in Antalya would be a heavyweight brawl between 2 men who kept everyone in their seats to the very end. In one corner, Olympic silver medalist Jean-Charles Valadon. In the other, Olympic bronze medalist Brady Ellison, who was also the top qualifier in Antalya, even though he was jet-lagged, arriving late the night before qualifying began. According to Ellison, rest is overrated. And Brady seemed to be proving his point, as he was poised to split the first set. A 10 would have guaranteed a tie, but a 9 left him vulnerable to fellow field archer Jean-Charles Valadon. Using his trademark draw, going low and slow, Valadon went for the kill, not about to let his prey get away. JC takes the first set with 29 points, jumps out to a 2-0 lead in the match. Valedon and Ellison had not gone head-to-head since 2010 in Croatia, Brady winning that match in Porridge in a shoot-off. It may have been 7 years ago, but odds are Valedon had not forgotten Brady held the better hand on that day. After losing the second set, the American, well, he had his work cut out for him, which is something he's well accustomed to. Something he's not accustomed to is operating in the red zone. An 8 would not bode well for Brady as he opened the third set, but he came away unscathed thanks to another 8 off the bow of Valedon. Given a new lease on life, at least in this set, Ellison bounced back, hitting the jackpot on his second shot. Would that inspire Jean-Charles? It would, but only to a point. The Frenchman now found himself trailing by 1 with 1 to shoot. Brady could have put this set out of reach and would have had the point of his arrow just grazed the line. But what would a gold medal match be without a little suspense, a little drama? Valedon could have tied the set to share the points. He could have, but he did not. Just a shade above the line himself, Jean-Charles would see this set go to Brady Ellison. The lead cut in half. The outcome still in doubt. After all, though, when it comes right down to it, either one of these men could have been the Olympic gold medalist in Rio. They both came that close, Valedon forcing a 5th set in his gold medal match before succumbing to Korea's Kuban-chan. And Brady took Mr. Koo to a shoot-off in the heart-stopping semifinals, coming oh so close to the bump he needed to get over the hump. Now Brady needed a bump to jump back into contention in Turkey. And once again he came oh so close. Now he needed another reprieve. And surprisingly, Jean-Charles seemed to be in a generous mood. Now, generosity is never a good strategy in this sport, especially when facing the likes of Mr. Ellison, who is only too happy to accept the gift from Jean-Charles. But that usually brings out the best in both archers. And that point was proven to be the case once again. Valedon dials up a 10 to knot the score at 19 in this nail-biter. One arrow either way could decide the outcome. And that one arrow was the one that got away from Ellison. It happens to the best of them, and all Brady could do was shrug and smile, knowing it was now out of his hands. The Frenchman would decide his fate, and Jean-Charles would play the executioner. Valedon had Ellison on the run and was not about to let him off the ropes. With shadows growing across his target, a 10 signaled the sun was setting on Brady Ellison. Jean-Charles Valedon finally had his revenge. More important, he had his first World Cup medal, and it was a gold one at that. It all capped off an impressive week of shooting for Jean-Charles at stage 2. After preparing for 2 weeks, working only on a special part of his technique, the line between his shoulders and the balance of his body, Valedon would be the number 2 qualifier. And he would only drop 2 set points on his way to the final, planting 21 arrows in the 10 ring throughout match play. Now, with the gold medal in his pocket, Valedon becomes the top-ranked archer in men's recurve, achieving the number 1 ranking for the first time in his career. Not a bad encore after winning the Olympic silver medal. But heavy lies the head that wears the crown. Now everyone will be coming for Jean-Charles Valedon, who will find out firsthand what it feels like to be the man everyone wants to beat. I shoot all my arrows intending to hit the 10. This is most important. Maybe yes and 9 to win, but in my head, I need to shoot 10. This is my objective. I shoot each arrow trying to put them where I aim, in the middle of the target.
I think so. It would have been tough. I mean, 29, 29, 29. I mean, I had to shoot 30s to win, 29's a tie. It would have been a very, very tough match to win. You know, I think if I was shooting as good as I could have, then yeah, I might have been able to win that match. But the way he shot it would have been really tough, and you know, he outshot me, so.